After more than 16 hours, the siege at Sydney's Lindt cafe is finally over. Dramatic scenes ensued as the police stormed the cafe in the final stage of the assault late into the night in Australia. Gunfire and explosions were heard even as hostages were seen escaping. Indian hostages too have managed to escape unhurt. The Ministry of External Affairs has confirmed to Headlines today that there were 2 hostages. Both of them are safe. In fact, just a short while before now, Sushma Swaraj, the External Affairs Minister, has put out 2 tweets giving out the names of these hostages and saying that both of them have been rescued. Mark Matthew is a journalist reporting from Sydney. He's joining us on this broadcast. Mark, what is the latest that you can tell us about what's happening at Ground Zero at this time?
Look, that's right. So the gunfire ended probably about just over an hour ago here in Sydney as the police finally stormed into that cafe following, I guess, 7 or so hostages running out of it just after 2 o'clock this morning. Obviously, information is still flowing through and yet to get any official confirmation from police or any official press conference to give us details of what has unfolded in the last hour or so this morning. But the latest reports are, our radio station understands that 2 people have been killed. One of those is the gunman, believed to be the gunman. Another one, possibly a hostage. The gunman, of course, we've identified as Iranian Muslim radical cleric Manharan Monas, who is on bail for a string of violent offences, including being accessory to murder. It is believed that he is among the 2 people that have died since police stormed that thing. We're still waiting on exact numbers of injuries. We're hearing 5 people injured and some taken to hospitals, some of those in critical conditions. Information is still developing and coming in as we speak, but yet to get official confirmation of those figures.
Mark Matthew for joining us with that update live from Sydney. Thank you very much. Ishwar Reddy is the father of Aniket Reddy. He's the hostage who worked with Infosys. He's now escaped unhurt. Mr. Reddy, you'd be very, very relieved to know that your son has come out of this, of the clutches of the terrorists completely unhurt. Mr. Reddy?
Hello.
Yes. Have you been able to speak to your son, sir?
I am feeling very happy that my son came out of this restaurant, and I received a message from Hyderabad. A team member told that, sir, your son came out of this restaurant through the TV channel. At the same time, I received a message from my daughter-in-law. Mr. Kant came out and nothing to worry. My daughter-in-law told. At the same time, my daughter also from USA, Daddy, brother came out of this restaurant, nothing to worry, be happy, told. At the same time, I am watching this Sakshi TV, also that the visuals also we saw. At the time, we feel very happy. At the same time, my Mrs. also felt very happy. She has less confidence that how it will happen, how it will lead like that. Now, after seeing that news, as I was told, she felt very happy. First of all, if my message is happy, I am also happy. That is what I want to say to you.
Have you so far been able to speak to Anki Reddy, sir? Have you been able to speak to your son?
Government as well as our state, central government, BJP government.
Clearly very, very relieved, Ishwar Reddy, for joining us. Thank you very much. Your son is safe and we're delighted that he's been able to escape unhurt. Alice Hogg is also joining us from Sydney. Alice, what is the latest that you can tell us? We're told that you were in the area of the Sydney Business District when this final assault was ensuing. Can you describe to our viewers what you saw?
Certainly. I mean, it was a pretty horrific moment. Gunfire just sort of erupted out of nowhere. It was one shot after another. It did finish for a few moments before it started up again, and then we could hear police shouting, and then ambulance services were racing inside. We've seen people stretch it out, obviously injured, and we've since heard reports that two people, including the gunman, have died, and 2 others are critically injured.
Has it been understood yet about whether he has any connections with the ISIS? Because we're told he's a self-styled sheikh. He's from Iran, but he's not Shia. He converted to Sunnism. Is there any sense of whether he's a lone ranger? Is he a lone wolf? Or is he somebody who thinks of himself as being part of a larger global Islamic jihad?
It's a bit early to completely clarify all of that. He is a known radical Muslim cleric. He has actually been on bail for a string of violent offences, including being involved in a murder in some way, being an accessory to murder. So this is a man that is, I guess, known. He's been in the media before for starting a hate campaign against Australian troops for being in Afghanistan. And that's what we know about him at this stage.
Okay, Alice, for joining us with your thoughts. Thank you very much. Let's just focus for a moment on this self-styled sheikh. The man at the center of the Sydney siege has been identified as an Iranian refugee, a self-proclaimed sheikh who went by the name Sheikh Man Haron Monis. Now, Sheikh Monis is no stranger to the police or the judiciary. He's believed to have run a hate mail campaign against Australian troops in Afghanistan and faces over 40 cases of sexual assault. He now has been gunned down by the Australian police. Now the question is, if he had such serious charges against him, including charges of the murder of his wife, why was he out on bail? Here's someone who's shown radical tendencies, and was there a slippage in the Australian policing system to have allowed him out in the first place? Let's now get you images of how the final encounter played out, with Australian cops storming the Lindt chocolate cafe. Gunfire and loud explosions were heard. More than one Indian was held hostage at the cafe, and the Ministry of External Affairs confirmed that both the hostages managed to escape unhurt, including Infosys techie Anki Vishwakant Reddy. The other one, Pushpendu Ghosh, too, has escaped unhurt. At least 2 people are dead, and that includes the gunman Sheikh Man Haron Monis. Just a short while before now, Sushma Swaraj tweeted saying the hostage crisis in Sydney is over. Vishwakant Anki is safe. He's undergoing some medical checkups and will be back soon. Her second tweet was that another Indian hostage, Pushpendu Ghosh, is also safe. Let's now listen to what spokesperson for the Ministry of External Affairs, Syed Akbaruddin, told Headlines Today a short while before now.
If I can confirm to you that Indians involved in this hostage drama are all free and safe and secure. The Indians who were involved in this hostage taking are all free, safe and secure, and our consulate in Sydney has just confirmed that to us. I will not get into the numbers, but there were more than one. I've been in touch with the family members concerned, and we can confirm to you that both these hostages are now out. They are in police custody, safe and secure.
Well, the Indians are in police custody, but in case you missed the day's action and drama, here's how it unfolded in Sydney, a relatively peaceful town which hasn't seen such terror attacks before this, completely caught off guard as a terrorist barged into the Lindt chocolate cafe. Here are how developments panned out through the day.
In the heart of Sydney's financial district, Lindt Cafe was open for breakfast. A man carrying a blue sports bag did not arouse any suspicion. The gun inside the bag went undetected. A minute later, an emergency phone call is made to the police. 5 minutes later, the area is swarming with policemen. The SWAT clears and cordons off the area. A curious crowd assembles and is shocked as cafe staff and customers are seen pressed against the windows with hands raised. Shortly after, some of the hostages are seen holding up a flag with Arabic script on it. A nationwide alert, meanwhile, is sounded, and Prime Minister Tony Abbott convenes a top-level meeting to discuss the security situation, to which there is some clarity now emerging on ground.
Our only goal tonight, and for as long as this takes, is to get those people that are currently caught in that building out of there safely. That remains our number one priority, and nothing will change. We have large numbers of police. They are in contact, and we're working to resolve this just as quickly as we possibly can.
Late in the afternoon, there is some action. 3 people, 1 staff wearing a Lindt cafe apron, and 2 others are seen running away from the cafe.
But the good news is that we do have 5 people who have come out of that building and that we are now dealing with.
From their accounts, it becomes clear that there are roughly 30 hostages being held at gunpoint.
Tell you how many are inside.
Yeah, again, that is a tactical, it's an operational imperative.
Less than an hour later, 2 more people are seen running out. Meanwhile, an Australian news agency claims to have spoken to 2 of the people who managed to escape. They say the gunman has 2 main demands: an ISIS flag in exchange for a hostage and a phone call to the Australian Prime Minister Tony Abbott. The news report also claims that the hostages told the police that the gunman talked to 4 bombs, 2 inside the cafe and 2 in the surrounding central business district. The claims, however, are yet to be verified.
For their patience this afternoon, for doing what police asked of them by staying clear of certain areas. She also asked them, though, if they have plans tonight in Sydney, go ahead and do what they have to do. Even if it's coming into the city, she said that's fine, as long as they stay away from Martin Place. That issue is being dealt with what she described as the best negotiators in the world, and she said that they were constantly in touch with that gunman. Mel?
The police say that they are ready to work through the night, indicating that this hostage crisis could well spill over into Tuesday. Bureau Report, Headlines Today.
That package, of course, was compiled before the final siege late this evening. And as the siege in Sydney unfolded, a tweet warning of a similar hostage crisis in Bengaluru sent a shiver down the spine of the city police following the arrest of alleged ISIS Twitter account handler Mehdi Masroor Biswas. Unidentified miscreants tweeted a message on Twitter threatening to carry out a Sydney-like hostage operation in Bengaluru on Tuesday. Police Commissioner M.N. Reddy denied that the IT city was under any threat and that the account is fake. Reddy assured that the police force is ready to avert any untoward incident. A short while before now, I spoke to the Commissioner, and this is what he had to say.
Are you aware of this? Yeah, we are aware of that. There is a Twitter handle called ISIS_media. We will take these messages and so-called threats we'll attach such importance that it deserves. No, regarding various types of information that we've asked him to provide to us, data, etc., which they have, I would say, substantially responded already. We continue to ask them more questions, ask for more data, which hopefully they will respond to as quickly as they.
One of the most prominent ISIS voices on social media tweeting away from Bengaluru, and the Indian intelligence agencies, our armed forces have absolutely no idea. What is wrong with the manner in which we are policing social media? Are there enough precautions being taken? Are we monitoring social media hard enough? Joining us on this broadcast is M.N. Reddy, Police Commissioner of Bengaluru. Mr. Reddy, I am very perplexed and very concerned about the fact that you've got this person, he's tweeting away. He runs one of the most popular, most influential Twitter accounts across the world of jihadis. And the Bangalore police, the NTRO, the Intelligence Bureau have absolutely no idea, raising serious concerns about whether we're doing enough of a job of policing social media, Mr. Reddy.
Yeah, let me deal with your question at 2 levels. One is whether we are doing enough to monitor the social media. There are question marks because the state police forces are more tuned towards the issues that are being faced by them on a day-to-day basis in terms of law and order and crime. I'm sure there are other agencies which have got to be involved in this. I'm sure they are, but maybe we need to do more. But I want to tell you another very important thing here which will give you a better perspective on what happened with this Mehdi running a Twitter handle from Bangalore. Now this man does not reveal his true name, does not ever anywhere reveal his local address or his location. In fact, he on the other hand gives his local time, which is actually matching that of West Asia, which means that he is actually making it appear that he is a person who is behind the Twitter handle, functioning out of the region on which the entire handle is focused. That's Iraq and Syria. Therefore, what I am trying to say is that neither is there an indication ever anywhere by way of any kind of identity of the location, nor is the focus area pertaining to our part of the world. Therefore, I think we have to give it the due where it belongs, that it obviously has missed us, but surely if it were to be any such indication, we would have definitely tracked it. But having said that, I agree with you that we need to have a generic monitoring and incisive monitoring of social media.
Mr. Commissioner, I've heard varying accounts of how Mehdi Biswas was ultimately tracked down. Some talk about his t-shirt, some talk about how we finally managed to get to him. Since we have you on our broadcast tonight, if you could share with our viewers how the police finally cracked this case between the time the Channel 4 investigation went on air, their interview with Mehdi Biswas, and the police actually reaching out to him. What transpired, sir?
Very difficult for me to give you the details because these are operational issues, these are operational matters, and any revelation of those can affect not this particular case but any future case. So therefore I'm definitely barred from giving out the details. But all that I can say is that we spent the whole day trying to trying to fix the location for the individual, and various inputs were being received from various corners from across the country, including central agencies, and at one point in time we did get this specific understanding that there is an address which we need to look at, and then our teams went and got him.
Okay, we're also seeing as a consequence of this arrest now Abhishek Goel, your DCP, being threatened by various comrades in arms of Mehdi Biswas. How serious are these threats? One of these posts reads, "We will not leave our brothers in your hand. Revenge is coming. Wait for our reaction." This is from someone who tweets with the handle Abuana FAL6. Now, this is a direct threat to the Bangalore police. How seriously are you taking it? What are you doing to counter it, Commissioner?
Yeah, first thing is that we don't take any threat lightly. We take, however far-fetched it might look, we do take it with the kind of importance we attach to it that it deserves. We are definitely looking into the background of these tweets which are focused on issuing some kind of a threat to our officers. But all that I can say is that there is a definite possibility that these are emerging from different parts of the globe, because the Twitter is such a platform which is extremely global. Give us time. We are on the job to see whether we can identify and go into the location of the source, and then we will have better things to say about it.
Mr. Reddy,
we are prepared, and we are
there were reports that you've called the Twitter India head for questioning. Is the company cooperating? They've got policies which say that they don't actively monitor what is appearing on social media on their platform. Do you think that's good enough, or do you think sites like Twitter, like Facebook need to do a lot more to help out the police in ensuring that no rabid content, which is very dangerous and could have a terror angle as well, is allowed to proliferate on their platform?
Yeah, I'll deal with it in two ways. First is the factual part of our issuing a notice to the Twitter chief of India. What we have done is that we've issued a notice under section 91 of the Criminal Procedure Code, which empowers police officer investigating to demand, to direct any person to produce all the evidence that is available with them. We have done that. I believe that they are already responding substantially, and then I think we are on the right track as far as getting information from them is concerned. But the second larger issue which you mentioned, I am very happy that you mentioned it, and I request you to flag it, is that this particular platform, this particular social media platforms lend themselves to very unbridled, unhindered, populating by content that is definitely not verified, not verifiable. It can lead to issues, it can lead to public order problems, it can lead to threats. So populating this kind of, the ability to populate with such content is something that is not very, I think, desirable. That is where these agencies, these entities like Twitter and Facebook, etc., there are many more, have got to put some internal checks and balances.
You're asking for internal checks and balances. The company, of course, will argue that that goes against their ethos. They don't proactively monitor who's saying what, but if a case comes up or if you ask for help, then they go out and do help. However, sir, you've arrested Biswas under Section 125 of the Indian Penal Code, waging war against the Indian government. Section 18 and 39 of the Unlawful Activities Prevention Act and Section 66 of the Information Technology Act. But some of the people that I was speaking to raised serious questions about whether we're in a grey area, whether the fact that this person is essentially a propagandist and hasn't done anything against India per se, and therefore is it really waging war against India? Do you believe that this new crime actually comes in a grey area, and that again is something that needs to be looked at very carefully?
No, Rahul, you got it wrong as far as Section 125 is concerned. It's not about waging war against India. It's about waging war or abetting waging of war against a friendly nation, friendly Asiatic power. So here we are not talking about his waging war or abetting waging war against India, but abetting waging war against a friendly Asiatic power, which is Syria and Iraq, for example. So definitely the activities that he indulged in, as things stand today, prima facie to us, look clearly in a manner that he incited, he kind of instigated people to either join this movement out there in that area, in that part of the world.
That was the Bengaluru Police Commissioner speaking exclusively to Headlines Today. We're heading into a very quick break right now. When we come back, in 10 quick minutes, we get you all the news that you need to know from India and across the world. And then a day before the Nirbhaya incident happened 2 years ago, we go out into the streets of Delhi to see whether things have improved on the ground, whether the multiple promises that were made by our state government and central government